Hi everyone, welcome to Kriti's Tutorials. Today, let us take up with the fresh topic epithelial tissues. In previous video, we discussed about the type of animal tissues. Here, let us discuss about the epithelial tissues. How does the epithelial tissues are made up of? So, coming to these epithelial tissues forms the outermost covering of our body. Okay, epithelial tissues, it forms the outermost covering of our body. It forms the outermost covering of our body, or it is present in the internal layers also. Okay, it is seen in the internal layers also. So coming to the epithelial tissues, they generally forms the outermost covering of our body, and also it is present in the inner lining of the tissues. Clear? So coming to this epithelial tissues, the main function of these epithelial tissues is protection. Okay? Protection. The main function of this epithelial tissue is protection, and also this epithelial tissues is very useful in some places as a part of secretion. Okay, it helps to secrete some substances. Okay, so this epithelial tissues, it is forming the outermost covering, and also it is present in the internal layers. Then coming to these epithelial tissues, the main function of the epithelial tissues are protection, and in some places it exhibits some secretions also. Okay, so coming to these epithelial tissues, the epithelial tissues are classified into three types. Okay, two types, they are simple epithelium and compound epithelium. So, if we are talking about the simple epithelium in detail, the simple epithelial tissues are classified. The simple epithelial tissues are classified into three different types. The first one is squamous epithelium. The first one is squamous epithelium. Second one is cuboidal epithelium. And the third one is columnar epithelial tissues. The simple epithelium, it is categorized into three different types. The first one is squamous epithelium, the second one is cuboidal epithelium, and the third one is the columnar epithelial tissues. So, coming to this squamous epithelium, these are polygonal or hexagonal in shape. They are polygonal or hexagonal in shape. Okay. The cells are arranged in such a way that there is no intercellular spaces. Intercellular spaces. Or this space can also be termed as extracellular space. Intercellular space can also be termed as extracellular space. So, if we are drawing the diagram of squamous epithelial tissues, for these are the squamous epithelial tissues. And these squamous epithelial tissues, they have, if we are talking about these epithelial tissues itself, they does not have any association with the blood vessels. Okay, instead, how do they get all the nutrients? They get the nutrients with the help of the basement membrane. Epithelial tissues, they are resting themselves in the basement membrane. epithelial tissues are resting in the basement membrane. This basement membrane provides sufficient nourishment to these epithelial tissues. Okay, so this basement membrane provides the sufficient nutrients to the epithelial tissues. Then, as there is no intracellular spaces seen, this epithelial tissues can also be called as pavement membrane. This is an important point. As the arrangement of these epithelial tissues is in the form of tails. Okay, tails. During the construction of houses, we have tails. Okay, we fix the tails in the lowermost part. Okay, where there is no intracellular spaces. Okay, the cells, the epithelial cells are arranged in such a way which is giving the tail-like appearance. Okay, tails-like appearance. So we call it as the pavement membrane. Clear? So coming to this squamous epithelial tissues, this squamous epithelial tissues, as we have discussed, they does not contain any blood vessels. So no blood vessels is seen. Okay, so no blood vessels are seen in case of the squamous epithelial tissues. Then coming to the next point, coming to the location, they are present in the lining of alveoli. So they are present in the location. If we are talking about the location, I use the different color for identification. They are present in the lining of alveoli. They are present in the lining of alveoli. They are present in the lining of blood capillaries. They are also present in the lining of the capillaries. What are capillaries? They are tertiary blood vessels. Okay. Then they are present in the walls of the Bowman's capsule and Henle's loop. Okay. They are present on the walls of Bowman's capsule and Henle's loop. So this is about the squamous epithelial tissues. Then coming to the next one, it is cuboidal epithelial tissues. If we are talking about these cuboidal epithelial tissues, these cuboidal epithelial tissues are also called as germinal epithelium. As they are present on the gonads. Gonads are the reproductive parts. Okay. So this germinal epithelium, this cuboidal epithelium, it is also called as the germinal epithelium. So if we are talking about this cuboidal epithelial tissues, the cells are of cube shape. Okay. If we are talking about these cuboidal epithelial tissues, the cells are of cube shape. Okay, then as we have discussed earlier, also we know that these also they rest in the basement membrane. Okay, they also have the basement membranes. Okay, and the nucleus is present in the center. Okay, the nucleus is present in the center. Okay, in the free space of this epithelium, if you find some small hair-like structures, which are present on the free space, we use this term ciliated. Okay, so how do we term this? If there is no presence of cilia, we call it as cuboidal epithelial tissues. If there is some hair-like substances seen, we call it as ciliated cuboidal epithelium. Okay, if there is no hair present, we call it as cuboidal epithelium. When you find some hair in the free space, we call it as ciliated cuboidal epithelial tissues. Clear? So then coming to the location, they are present in the tubules of nephrons. So what is nephron tubules? Nephron tubules are PCTs and DCTs. Okay. So they are present in the nephron tubules. Okay, they are present in the nephron tubules and they are present in the upper respiratory tract. Okay, then the third type is columnar epithelial tissues. So coming to this columnar epithelial tissues, these cells are column-like. The cells are column-like and the nucleus is located in the peripheral part of the cell. The nucleus are located in the peripheral part of the cell. As usual, these type of cells are also resting in the basement membrane. These type of cells are also present in the basement membrane. Then, if we are talking about these free hair spaces, if there is some free hair spaces seen, what do we call it as? Ciliated columnar epithelial tissues. Okay, so if there is no free space, we simply call it as columnar epithelium. If we find some hair-like substances, we call it as ciliated columnar epithelium. Okay, we call it as ciliated columnar epithelial tissues. So then coming to the location, if we are talking about the location of ciliated columnar epithelial tissues, they are found in the fallopian tubes. Fallopian tubes of female reproductive system, and also it is seen in the nephron tubules. Okay, they are present in the fallopian tubes as well as these are present in the nephron tubules. Then coming to here, you can see some brush border like epithelial tissues seen. Okay, so the cells will be arranged in such a way that if this is the cell, and obviously here it is the nucleus, and in the lowermost part you could find the basement membranes, and in the free space you could observe some brush border like appearance. Okay, and this type of epithelium we call it as brush border epithelium. So, example, where is this located? This brush border is located in the villi of intestine. So, if we are observing these three type of simple epithelium like squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelium or columnar epithelium, you could observe that all the layers are just only the single layer of cells. Okay, so this simple epithelium can be defined as the cells which are arranged in single layer. Okay, hope you have understood this topic of simple epithelium. It is divided into three types. They are squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, columnar epithelium. In the free space of cuboidal epithelium, if we have hair-like substance, we call it as ciliated cuboidal epithelial tissues. If there is the free space, if we find the hair substances in columnar epithelium, we call it as ciliated columnar epithelium, and if we observe some brush border like appearance, we call it as brush border epithelium. So, in the next class, let us take up with the compound epithelium. Thank you.